Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by Paychex, one of the leading providers of HR, payroll, retirement, and software solutions for businesses of all sizes. My name is Steve Boese. Preparing the next generation of workers requires creative thinking and chicken nuggets. Lots of people enjoy the fast food chain Chock-fil-A. In fact, some people's enjoyment of Chick-fil-A borders on obsession, as evidenced by the incredibly long lines seen at most Chick-fil-A drive-thrus and especially at their airport terminal locations pretty much all the time. I get it, Chick-fil-A is a pretty solid, if not better than that, choice when you need a relatively quick meal. I mostly patronize the chain to get grilled chicken nuggets as a treat for my dog, but nonetheless, I understand Chick-fil-A's popularity, and I suspect that most of you understand it as well. But having a decent chicken sandwich is one thing. Transforming the popularity of chicken and thoughtful customer service into a bizarre kind of recruitment operation targeting kids in grades K through 6 and their parents, well, that's another thing entirely. It's a decent-sized step from, I like the chicken there, to, I can't wait to one day put on a paper hat and get a job at the Chick-fil-A. But taking that step, or at least encouraging kids and parents to take that step, well, that's happening at some Chick-fil-A's restaurants this summer. A few Chick-fil-A restaurants are holding what they call summer camps for school-aged children, where for the low fee of about $35, participants, meaning the kids, get the opportunity to learn how to be a Chick-fil-A worker by taking orders, making drinks, and being a host or hostess. When I read about the program, I frankly had to stop and read it over again. It sounded kind of preposterous. But indeed, this Chick-fil-A, pay us to have your kid pretend to work here for 3 hours camp, well, that's a real thing. From a recent article in the Business Insider describing the program, a Chick-fil-A restaurant in Hammond, Louisiana is hosting a summer camp for kids to get an inside look at the chain. Promoted for kids age 5 to 12, the event promises a behind-the-scenes view of what it's like to work at America's favorite quick-service restaurant. And the restaurant said that roughly 180 reservations were taken across 6 days and were booked within a day of being made available for the cost of $35 each. An earlier version of the event listing said that campers would learn dining room, host, and customer service skills, learn how to take guest orders, learn how to bag guest orders, tour the kitchen, box up their own nuggets, and make their own ice cream cones or cups. And a company spokesperson said that the location was one of several across the USA that would be offering the 3-hour event. Young kids, maybe up to about 7 or 8 years old, assuming they're fans of Chick-fil-A in the first place, well, they might enjoy being able to play employee at the restaurant. Maybe not for fully 3 hours, but probably for a little while at least, up until ice cream cone making time. 3 full hours of quote-unquote working a shift at the Chick-fil-A may be kind of a heavy ask for a 10-year-old. And don't forget mom and dad forking over $35 for that privilege. But a bigger question is just what the motivation is behind holding these summer camps for Chick-fil-A from the perspective of the individual location owners and franchisors. There's obvious demand for them, as evidenced by the locations referenced in the Business Insider piece, who are seeing quick sellouts of all available places in the camps, and the ability to stage multiple sessions during the summer months. Maybe after expenses for extra staff and the food for the campers, the Chick-fil-A makes an extra few dollars in revenue on what may be a typically slower day or a time period, but it really can't be that much. Plus, Chick-fil-A locations are already enormously successful. The website Food Institute reports that the Chick-fil-A's have the highest annual average revenue per location at $6.7 million per year in the entire fast food industry. Could at least part of the motivation behind these events be the need to build awareness of what it's like to really be a Chick-fil-A worker and to motivate at least a few of the campers to consider joining the Chick-fil-A crew when they are old enough to be employed there? I think probably. One of the Louisiana locations is holding 5 summer camp sessions with anywhere from 25 to 30 campers in each one. So out of the 150 or so kids to participate in the Chick-fil-A employment experience, maybe they convert 5 or 6 or 10 kids to part-time workers once they become teenagers? Is the cult of Chick-fil-A strong enough to make that kind of lasting impression on young kids, that a 3-hour taste of life behind the counter would motivate them to come on board as employees later on? It could be. People do line up and wait for that chicken. It's an interesting story and one that reminds us all that finding and motivating people to work at any organization is a challenge. and creative thinking about how to get people interested in your organization as a place to work is increasingly important. Chick-fil-A has a really strong and well-known brand and enthusiastic customers and fans. And still, at least some of the locations are getting way out of the box to continue to cultivate that brand connection and potentially recruit future employees. Perhaps it's time to think about what your organization could or should be doing to do the same. We'll continue to cover the important topics of trends here in the world of work on the HR Happy Hour Media Network. That's it for the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors.